What if, out of nowhere, everyone on Earth was granted the ability to communicate with one animal of their choosing, but only for 1 hour every year? Sounds like a dream come true for animal lovers, right? Imagine just once a year, you could sit down with your dog and finally ask them, "Why do you always stare at me when I eat? And do you actually like those treats I give you? Or are you just pretending?" Or you could have a heart-to-heart with a dolphin, asking them about life in the ocean, or maybe a chat with a bird to find out why they're always so chirpy at the crack of dawn. But before we all get carried away imagining ourselves having deep, meaningful convos with our pets, let's think through how this would really change the world. First of all, let's talk about the selection process. You get to choose one animal to talk to, and that choice is permanent. 1 hour a year with one creature. So who do you pick? Do you go for your trusty cat, who's always given you the silent treatment but who secretly loves you? Or do you dream big and pick something exotic, like an elephant, a whale, or maybe a lion, hoping for some wisdom from the animal kingdom's royalty? Let's say you go the route of picking a pet. Now you've got this unique opportunity to understand their thoughts and needs in a way that goes beyond the "I think they want to go outside" guesswork. Your dog could explain why they bark at the mailman, why they get so excited when you grab their leash, and why they just can't seem to figure out fetch. The answers would probably be less mind-blowing than you expect. Maybe they're just thinking, "I love you," in their sweet, doggy way. But for the first time, you'd have a solid, unfiltered answer straight from the source. That's kind of magical, right? But now let's expand this to the bigger picture, because the real impact of this ability wouldn't be on just your little furry friend. It'd be on how humans relate to the entire animal kingdom. Picture a world where we suddenly understand animals' thoughts, emotions, and desires. And yet, it's all on a timer. Every year, for just 60 minutes, you've got a conversation that feels like it's stuck in fast-forward mode. Imagine how much we'd learn about animals' lives, their struggles, and their perceptions of the world around them in just 1 hour a year. You could learn firsthand from an elephant about the threats to their habitat, or hear from a bird about the challenges of migration. You'd finally know if that squirrel is really that into the bird feeder, or if they're just hoarding for winter. This 1 hour of communication could lead to some major changes in the way we treat animals. You might finally understand why wild animals are so elusive, or why certain species behave in ways that puzzle us. Maybe a lion would tell you that they don't want to be feared, they're just trying to survive in a world that's increasingly shrinking around them. These conversations could be eye-opening, sparking new levels of empathy and understanding for creatures whose lives we often take for granted. But it wouldn't all be heartwarming revelations. Let's face it, there would be some tough conversations too. For example, imagine hearing a fish explain how it feels trapped in a small aquarium, or a horse telling you about the wear and tear of working all day. These 1 hour talks could shine a light on the hard truths about how humans interact with animals, whether it's farming practices, habitat destruction, or animal testing, and it might just make us rethink how we treat the world's creatures. On the flip side, there'd also be some hilarious, absurd moments. I mean, can you imagine talking to a chicken about the inner workings of its day? They're probably thinking in their little heads, "How do I keep my feathers perfect? Should I really lay that egg? How do humans even eat these things?" Maybe your parrot will share a profound thought about the meaning of life, or maybe it'll just give you the ultimate bird attitude. "Why do you always look so serious? Lighten up." But beyond the silliness, there's real potential here for this ability to lead to some societal shifts. Think about all the ways humans have been trying to study animals over the years. We've tried to use science, observation, and technology, but the fact is, we've never really known what animals think. Sure, we have data on their behavior, their biology, but the subjective experience of being an animal has always been a mystery. Suddenly, with this 1 hour of communication, you'd have access to that inner world. Every year, we'd get a chance to learn something new, something that's not just an observation, but an experience. And what if we take this even further? What if this ability is shared globally, so humans from all walks of life can connect with animals, in ways that may lead to more widespread change? You could imagine an activist finally sitting down with an endangered species to understand how their environment is deteriorating. Or maybe a farmer talks to their cows to understand how they feel about the conditions they live in. These global conversations could lead to massive shifts in our treatment of animals, and by extension, the environment. On a more personal level, people might come to realize just how much their pets have been trying to communicate all along. We often think we understand our animals, but do we really know what goes on in their heads? Maybe your dog isn't just wagging their tail because they're happy. Maybe they're also trying to tell you that they don't like the neighbor's dog, or that they prefer the purple squeaky toy over the red one. These little nuances could deepen our relationships with animals and enrich the lives of both pets and owners alike. Now, let's get to the big question. What happens when the hour's up? You'd only have 60 minutes with your animal each year, so how do you make the most of it? Do you spend it asking deep, philosophical questions? Or do you go for the fun stuff, like asking your cat why it's always knocking things off the table? It's a bit of a time crunch, but the clock ticking down would make every second of that conversation feel precious. The pressure of that 1 hour would make us realize just how little time we have to really understand the creatures we share this planet with. By the time the clock runs out, you might find yourself wishing you could get just one more minute, but instead, you'd be left with a renewed sense of respect and awe for the animal kingdom. So, if you could talk to any animal for 1 hour each year, who would you choose? A pet? A wild creature? An insect? What would you ask them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. After all, the next time you look at your dog, or that random squirrel in your yard, you might just wonder, what are they really thinking?